This is Skinwalker's face and here he goes. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I live in a small town close to Transylvania. The town is mainly mountains and forests, not a very industrialized place. A little over 30,000 people call this town home. Due to the fact that it is quite secluded, urban legends, myths, and scary stories are very popular. The town is filled with more elders than young people, as all of the latter move out as soon as they finish high school. The elders will tell you hundreds of stories, most of which will be meant to scare you enough to go to bed before midnight. Most stories are not true. I never believed them to be. However, mine is. Here is how I came to believe in the paranormal world. I live with my grandma. She is a very kind woman, religious, Orthodox Christian, with the kindest heart you could imagine. She would always let me go wherever I want, and even though she would always worry about me, she would never really stop me. I feel like her kind attitude towards me is because she felt responsible for raising me and wanted me to have all the freedom growing up, instead of restrictions and punishments. She believes I can make rational decisions and focus more on advice. She would always instruct me on how to be careful with everything around me. The biggest no-no was the forest. She would always advise me not to step foot in the woods alone, especially at night. Wild animals, crazy people, she would say. I always listened. It was hard for me to avoid the woods as they were situated right in front of our house and I could clearly see in the woods from my balcony. I never wanted to worry about her, and I was scared of being attacked by wolves or bears, so I kept my distance from the forest. Until one night. As I already mentioned, the town I live in is filled with forests and mountain paths. Sometimes the easiest way to get somewhere fast would be to go through the forest. I was late one night, very late. I had spent the evening at my friend's house. She lived on the other side of the forest that my house bordered to. I had promised my grandma I would be home by 1 a.m. However, binge-watching Game of Thrones changed the plans. It was already 2:34 a.m. when I realized how late I was. When I left my friend's house I made the stupid decision to cut straight through the forest, in order to get home faster than if I took the road. It was extremely quiet. No bird noises, no wind, like all the animals were absent. I felt relieved. I wasn't gonna get eaten by a pack of wolves. I planned on spending only a few minutes in the forest as I walked from one end to the other. Nothing went exactly as I planned it. The moment I stepped a foot inside, I felt as if someone was watching me. Trying to be brave, I went deeper in, hoping to see my house at the other end as soon as possible. As I was walking, I heard a snap sound. That type of sound that means definitely something is there. It didn't sound like an animal, more like a person walking. I didn't want to have to run into a psychopath, so I started running. As I looked back, there was nothing. After 3 minutes of sprinting for my life, I could already see the lights of my street. Thank God. I stopped to catch my breath, relieved that I had gotten home safely. This is when I saw it. A dark figure with humanoid shape standing next to a tree to the right side of me. I was convinced it was a person, so I shouted, "Hello." Nothing. The figure just stood there. I couldn't make out anything of it, no face, no gender, no age. I was terrified. I realized I was the stupid girl in the scary movies that try to communicate with whatever this thing is, so I started running as fast as I could, aiming for the street leading to my house. As I was running, the scariest thing in my life occurred. Hello. 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 The creature mimicked me. It was repeating what I said over and over again behind me, with my voice. Its voice, my voice but sounding creepier, terrified me to death. I turned around and shouted at it. "Leave me alone. Alone, alone, alone," it repeated, mocking me. I couldn't deal with it anymore. I wasn't gonna talk to it. I just wanted to get home. I burst through the door. My grandma walked out of her room, sleepy and confused. I was crying. I told her what happened, all of it. As soon as she heard about the mimicking part, she rushed to the windows. She closed them all and instructed me to stay away from them. A skinwalker, she called it. An ancient witch can take the form of humans and animals. Terrifying dark creature. I thought I would get in trouble, but she looked too scared to even care. She instructed me to stay home for the next few days. Just as I was trying to understand what was happening, she started saying a prayer. I was freaking out. Why was I supposed to stay inside? What would happen to me if I go outside? Why stay away from the windows? She explained to me that the witch has targeted me and would wait for me to go out so she can get me. According to her knowledge, it would take a few days to break the connection that had been made by the repetition of my words. I obeyed. I stayed home for the next few days. That's not where the scary part ends. According to my grandma, the scary part was just beginning. Until the connection was broken, the witch would taunt me and try to get me to leave the house or open a window. Whatever you do, do not respond. She wasn't wrong. Every night for 3 nights straight, it would taunt me, trying to lure me out. It was somewhere outside my window repeating what I had said. Hello. 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 Leave me alone. It used exactly my voice. Dear, could you make tea please? My grandma's voice. It would mimic me, my grandma and even my friends, just to get me to leave the house. I never did. I resisted. Needless to say, it almost drove me insane. It happened a year ago. I am fine now. I haven't heard it mimic me ever since. It doesn't target me anymore. I never stepped foot inside the forest and I never will. However, if I stand on my balcony and I look at the forest in front of me, I swear, I can see a dark figure standing there, watching me. To everyone, I would give a warning. Some things are meant to never be discovered. Listen to your elders and let them remain undiscovered. Because when you mess around too much and something like this happens to you, it never really goes away. Yes, it happens. If you are fortunate enough, it ends. Then you feel like you are unaffected anymore, you are free. But you never really are. It will haunt you forever if you are lucky. If you are not, it will kill you.